Hello, welcome to my channel, Data Driven Decisions. Uh, Today we're going to continue working on this HR project that I'm working on. Where we left off last week, we found a data set for human resources off Kaggle, and then we took that. That was a zip folder. We unzipped it, and it was a CSV, a single CSV file, which consisted of one table. We checked it out as in Microsoft Excel, looked at what it was, and then next step, we brought it into the Google Cloud Platform. Step one is to load it into Google Cloud Storage. That's what we did. Then we loaded it into BigQuery. And where we ended, we created a circuit of tables, starting with the input table and then creating views thereafter. Today, we're going to bring this data into Looker. We're going to show you what the steps to create a project, how to configure Git, how to write the LookML for the views of which you'll be working off of, and get to the point where we'll be in the kitchen of Looker, the Explore realm, where we will build visuals and then build dashboards off those visuals. So let me share my screen. All right, so I just made this this accretive project steps diagram just to show what we're doing in this video, in this project. It's just a simple sales project where our sales team at our company, they just want to show off a demo dashboard to a potential client. This is human resources related, so they asked me as a business intelligence engineer to just build that sample dashboard, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm videotaping it just to show how to do it. So step one, we found some data off Kaggle. That's what you see right here. It was a zip folder. We downloaded it, and then we unzipped it, and underneath it was just a single CSV file. We took a look at it in Excel, and then we brought it into the Google Cloud Platform, which you see in orange. Step one is to upload the CSV file to cloud storage, then to take that cloud storage file into BigQuery, and then to write a SQL script that allows for data transformations. That's where we left off in last week's session. And today we're going to go through the Looker steps. Now, we're not going to go through all these steps, such as, step one is always to create a connection in Looker that points to the BigQuery dataset. This is something I cannot do because we're working in a sandbox project where I don't have the ability to create the JSON file that is necessary to create a connection. So we're going to skip that. I don't need it because there's already Looker connections built off of this project. So I'm just going to work within that connection. Then step two, which we will do, we'll show you in today's session, is how to create a project in Looker built off of the connection. And then once you create that project, you do need to configure Git. The easy, simple option for just a sample project such as this is just to create a bare repository. That negates working with GitHub or GitLab or anything like that. But when it comes to a real project, you definitely want to configure Git through GitLab or GitHub or any of those Git repositories. Once you configure Git, now you're able to work in your project, and you want to write out the LookML for the views of which you'll be working off of. Looker does a good job at writing a lot of LookML for you that you already need, just based off of the schema of the table, knowing which fields are dimensions and which are measures, and helping you with that. But it really doesn't do a grand slam. It doesn't do it all. You got to look at it step by step to write the LookML. And then once you create the LookML, then you build a simple Explore off of the views. For our project, we're just working with one table, so this Explore is just one fact table. But in most projects, you're going to be working with a basket of tables of which you're going to have to configure in an Explore. Basically, you're going to build the data model off the Explore. Once you got the Explore built, now you're in the kitchen of Looker, which is the Explore realm, and that's where you build visuals. And then all a dashboard is just a collection of explores. So after you build a couple explorers, you just load them to a blank dashboard page, and then you're then you're working with your dashboard, and um, that's that. So yeah, so just to recap, with Kaggle, I mentioned before how important it is to have like your tabs in the accretive order of which you're doing things. So here's step one. We got the human resources data set off Kaggle. Step two was downloading that file, unzipping it, and then seeing it as a CSV file that you see right here. This is a table of people. There are 311 people in this table, and this is all human resources related data off these people. And then the next tab over is Google Cloud Storage. You see right here, this is that CSV file loaded into Google Cloud Storage. That was what we did in the first video. Step two was to bring that Google Cloud Storage table into BigQuery. And let me find it. Dev Danny. So we labeled it HR data Safana in. This is the table that was loaded from Google Cloud Storage. This is a table. Thereafter, we created a chain of views just for future data transformation. Even though we're not doing anything just yet, we will in the future, in future videos. But as of now, we created a circuit of tables, starting with the input table, then thereafter creating views, the first one being the first transformation table, and then the final table at the end. So when future data transformation comes along, it's just going to be a matter of adding these mid tables to create a chain of tables, and it'll just do some tweaking with the final, what will be the final table that the output table feeds off of. If I got a second table, then this will be changed to 2. So that's that. And now we're going to be working in Looker. So now let's go into Looker and bring this BigQuery table into the Looker realm. So step one is creating a connection, but when a connection is already created off the project, you don't need to do that, and that's the scenario in my case. Step two is to create a project off of that connection. So let's go ahead and create a project. So let's go into projects. All right, so we're in the LookML projects realm. First thing we're going to do is just create a new LookML project. We're going to give it a name. Generate model. This is the default. Leave it there. Let's find the connection of which this is. This BigQuery is already connected to, right there. Schema. Let's put in the dataset name, and then single table. We only want to load in the final table. Let's create the project. All right, there we are. We only got the HR data Safana out table in there. This is the Explore that it already created for us. It already created the Explore definition. We can all leave this alone. You see how it does create a lot of LookML for you. This is good. We're going to work off of it, but it's not perfect. And I'll show you kind of what I do to every single thing just to make it better. We need to configure Git. We just started a new project, so now we need to configure Git. The simple solution is just to create a bare repository. Let's go back to the project. All right. Let's just take Git all the way through. This is just the steps you got to go through. First validate, then commit changes and push. Give it a comment name. Just say first commit. Deploy to production. All right, now we're good. Notice that we are in dev mode. Dev mode is when you want to, when you're working in the project, you're adjusting the LookML, you always want to be in dev mode. You have to be in dev mode. But your end users, they want to be in production mode. So that's a beautiful thing about Git. It's version controlled. So while you're making changes, while you're on a project with 20 other people working in the same project, you can all work off your own individual branches and just commit and to production when you're ready, and everybody can work in their own branch and it not being affecting anybody's work. And that's really awesome about Looker. It allows for huge BI projects to take place, something you can't do in Power BI or even Tableau, just because it doesn't have the version control. So that's really a game changer with Looker. All right, so let's go into the view realm, and I'll show you what I do to the LookML. Once it comes out to me as its default, it gives you this code, and let's first get rid of all the comments. We don't care about these comments, so let's just get rid of them all. All right. You know, this is good. Usually it comes out as the project name. You always just want the data set and the table, because Looker, the project, already knows what the project is. So when you move from dev to production, that's usually separate GCP projects. So you don't want to have to change code all the time. So you just want this. All right. Here, first thing we see is a measure, and first Looker defines it as a dimension, this absences measure, and then it creates total absences and average absences. Let's do some adjustments first. Let's call this absences dim, and we're going to hide it. It's a first step with any measure is to create a dimension off of it, but you never really want to see a measure as a dimension. Sometimes you do, but usually you don't. So we just hide it, and then let's use this measure. This definitely could be useful for us. Total absences. All we need to add is the value format name. Make it decimal 0. So with any measure, you always want to put a value format into it, either value format or value format name. I usually do value format name. I pretty much remember all the ones I use. And this has to change. Since we changed this to absences dim, the LookML measure that you're pointing to right here needs to match that. So there we go. Also put this bracket where it needs to be. All right, average absences, just same thing, except this could probably be decimal 1, and just add that. All right, get rid of this comment. All right, citizens' deaths. I don't like that name, so let's just give it a better name. This is what is going to come out as default in Looker. So it's going to prop case every word and turn every underscore into spaces. So you always want to, have a good name right here, because this is what it's going to come out at the end. If you don't want this to be the N1, you can give it there's a different LookML command to tell you what the description name would be with a different name right here. Let's leave everything unknown. All right. Date of hire, let's change that name, hire date. I think all of that is good. It gives you it in these periods. That's all really nice. So Looker does a good job with dates for you. Gives you a hierarchy. Date of termination date. That's a better name. Leave everything else alone. Days late, last 30. Let's just put underscore right there. This is another measure. So let's do what we did before to the absences measure. Change it to add dim to it, hide it. That's it. All right, let's add some measures off of that. Total days late last 30, and average days late last 30, just like we did with absences. Just make sure that this is the measure being pointed to. All right, department ID, those are all good. DOB, let's change that to date of birth. Leave all that alone. Employee ID, employee satisfaction. There's another measure we see right there. do the same thing. And then add average and total. Well, total wouldn't make sense, so just average. You don't want to sum a satisfaction score that just gives you nothing of the value. Always the average. So, employee status ID, leave alone. Employee name, leave alone. Employee status. Employee survey, there's a measure. All right, so we got engagement survey. Let's add average engagement survey. Let's turn this into a dim and hide it. Make sure this points to that. Make sure I'm doing the same thing. Employee satisfaction dim. From diversity job fair ID, leave alone. Gender ID, leave alone. Hispanic, Latino, let's just call it flag. Last performance review. Let's put date at the end. Let it know it's a date. Manager ID, manager name. Marital status. Marital status ID, married ID, performance score ID, performance score, position, position ID, race description, recruitment source. All right, here's another measure. So total salary sum, USD 0, make sure this comes here, comes there. All right. Instead of sex, let's call that gender. Project counts. Special projects count, there's another measure. So dim, hidden, equals yes. Value format. Even though I'm hiding it, I'm putting a value format on it. We can always turn the hidden off if we want to just see it in raw form. All right, let's create the measures. Date, term reason. Give this a better name. Termination flag. Zip. And then let's change this to row count. And get rid of the grid fields. All right, there you go. There's basic the LookML that I added to it. Let's see, we got it. Error. All right, so here's the basic LookML. I'm going to save it. Validate LookML. Commit. All right, now that we got, let's deploy to production. So we got the view all configured. Let's, we got now the Explorer built off of it. Now let's go into that Explorer, the kitchen. Let's open up a new browser of Looker. And let's click Explore. Here it is. All right, so this is the basic Explorer that we just built. You know, it's really raw. We didn't really create new measures. We just created simple measures, averages and totals off of the measures we saw. And here are all of them. So let's just look at this data, just explore it. That's always what you want to do right off the bat. Let's first look at row count. That would be also people, the total count of people. Let's look at, let's just look at that. All right, so most of the people are U.S. citizens, a couple eligible non-citizens, and a couple non-citizens. All right, here's the information by department. So the people by department. So most are in production. Next is IT, sales, software engineering, admin, executive, one executive. Okay. So here are all the people, all the names of the people. This should be the same as the row count, which it is, 311 distinct people. So no one in the system has the same name. That's awesome. All right. Most are active, and then voluntary terminated and terminated for cause. That's what employee status does. Let's look at it by gender. Most are female. You know, that would be like a pie. So 3/5 are female. Uh, there's about 28 who are Hispanic. The rest are not. Here are all the managers. Here's marital status, performance score, position. So look what we got: production technician, sales managers, software engineers, IT support, data analysts. So this looks like a software company. All right, by race, most are white, then black, Asian. Recruitment source, so most come from Indeed, then LinkedIn, then Google search. Here's state, so most are from Massachusetts, then Connecticut. Most are from Massachusetts. This is probably an in-office company, since most people are from the same state. Of people that are terminated, here's all the reasons, excluding this one. This is not terminated. Of all the people, 207 are still active, 104 have been terminated. So of all the people, about, I don't know, 40% have been terminated. And we got zip code. This is all going to be Massachusetts zip codes that I have no idea. That looks like it's not coming out as a real zip code. We might want to adjust that. Let's see if we can figure out what that is. Zip code type equals zip code. See if I can adjust that later. But there's just a general exploration of the data. Now we're going to start building out some things that would go into our dashboard. So that will be our next session.